Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be talking about pennies and the most interesting penny maybe out there. Some people would disagree, but in my hand I have a Lincoln Memorial penny, which was produced from 1959 to 2008, call it, and I have a wheat penny, which was made from 1909 to 1958, but one coin is out there, and it's actually subject to a lot of controversy. That's basically a marriage, or I don't know how you would say it. They call it a mule in coin terms, but where you've got the front is like the normal Lincoln penny that you know, but the back is a wheat penny, but it's in 1959, which theoretically should have Lincoln Memorial on the reverse of the coin. Instead, it's got those wheat ears, and like I said, there has been some controversy with certain important people saying that it's real, grading companies not saying that it's not real, but also struggling over time and not being fully ready to commit to saying it's a completely real coin without the grading companies. And despite that sort of shrouding mystery around it, it's still selling for tens of thousands of dollars. So we're going to jump in to a little history and think about really what is this coin, what makes it so special, are there other coins like it? So far it's one of a kind. What could the process that somebody would have had to do to fake this type of coin? There's a lot of questions I want to answer, and I'm really excited for today's video. And I wish I could show you a 1959D Mule penny in hand. I don't have access to it, as it is, as far as we know, one of a kind, but the right coin here is a wheat penny. This is actually the first graded coin I ever purchased, so it's sort of nostalgic for me, but this is what the reverse would have looked like on pennies from 1909 to 1958, and this is the reverse that should be the Lincoln Memorial from 1959 to 2008. And instead, what you have is a coin that has the obverse, dated 1959, but then it has this wheat reverse. And so that's the big distinction that we're talking about. And with that being said, now we're going to go to a presentation, and I'll walk you through sort of what that really means. This video is sponsored by Whatnot, the fastest growing live stream shopping and auctions app for your collectibles, including coins and paper money. I'll be selling a ton of coins, errors, varieties, world coin grab bags, paper currency, and precious metals over the next 2 Wednesday nights, May 25th and June 1st, and hope to see you there. I have a link in the description that'll give you a free $10 to spend on the app. We'll also be giving away about $500 of Morgan dollars and silver each of those 2 nights, so be sure to hang out and remember to go through that link. I really like how you can see the coins up close, their condition, and then have a nice, easy payment process through the app. So I'll see you there, and let's get into the video. And finally, here we have the coin right in front of us, the 1959D Lincoln cent with the obverse muled with a wheat cent reverse. So this is a sample representation of the real coin. There's no good images of it, but it is considered mint state 60. It's not like a super attractive coin at the same time, and it's more of like a brown color as opposed to like a bright red, but at the same time it hasn't been circulated, at least not in the opinion of Ira and Larry Goldberg auctioneers, which is probably one of the top 6 auction companies, maybe a bit stronger at the time that they were auctioning the coins off, but they have actually sold the coin 3 times. But a little bit before that, the initial story is that this was found and purchased by Leon Baller, a retired police officer in 1986, who had discovered the oddity basically, and he actually sent it to the U.S. Treasury in 1987 for authentication, which was a good move to do from his perspective. I think that the grading companies, you have to remember, were just sort of starting out at that point. So you'd probably go through the official government to see what is going on with the coin, and the Treasury said that they had microscopically examined the coin in the Forensic Services Division in Washington, D.C., and their opinion was that the coin is genuine. So they said it was real. He then sold it to Heritage, at that point Heritage Rare Coin Galleries, and then they sold it to a private collector and had placed it. I'll get into a little bit more of the auction history, but I just want to take you back, remind you. So yeah, 1909 to 1958, you have this copper wheat cent. If you don't pay too careful attention to the backs of those coins, like I showed before, and then you switch over. It's the same obverse design, but the Lincoln Memorial cent on the reverse. And then here, again, is our coin, but I want to focus on these auction histories. So for the timeline, in 2002, it gets resubmitted to the Department of the Treasury, which was quite risky because if it's considered a counterfeit coin, they would hold on to it and take it away from the owner just because it's, a counterfeit piece of coin and shouldn't be in public hands. They take that very seriously. This is U.S. money after all. That is still, you could spend this coin theoretically for a cent, but it was returned genuine. Now, things that went into that is that there weren't any seams on the edge where like two halves were pieced together, one of the new coin split with one of the old coin. The composition of the coin was consistent. There weren't any major tool or file marks that would suggest maybe it was an altered date. And it had reasonably normal die polish versus genuine 1959 cents. Some say that they think the die polish is a bit too much, which could be suspicious. But the hope is that given that there's a lot of people doing die studies of the coins, and the dies are basically the devices that are used to then hit into the blank planchets and impress, maybe they do tens of thousands of coins from one pair of dies, one obverse and one reverse die, and often there's little inconsistencies, maybe the tiniest chip or a little bit of a filing mark, but there's different ones overall. So the hope is that they can pair up the right die for both the reverse and the front of the coin. But because of the general oddity, PCGS and NGC said that they didn't want to grade it. They also submitted it to ANACS. They said that they didn't want to grade it. They just didn't feel like they have full confidence to back the value of the coin. But people are still interested in owning this, especially given its pedigree as being confirmed by the government as real. So Ira and Larry Goldberg Auctioneers has handled this coin 3 times, the most recently being in 2019, but they initially sold it for $48,300. It then sort of in the post-08 struggling market went down to $27,000, but bumped back up to $50,000 in a more recent 2019 sale. But at this stage, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens with the value of this coin if it comes up for auction again. Do people still have the appetite to pay big money for coins that might not even be real? At the same time, I wonder what the value would be if this was confirmed, because the wheat cent is an iconic US coin, as is the penny in general. So to have a mule, you could see up to a 4x in that price, I think, just because people are going to be willing to pay for coins that they have, a very iconic wheat cent reverse, a very iconic general 1 cent denomination, and this would immediately be the mule king of those. There's some really interesting sort of double denomination mules with Lincoln on the obverse, some dime reverses, but I think that this is even maybe more classic. Those have sold sort of in the $50,000 to $140,000 range, and this one I think could sort of top that off, probably not by too much, but I think that there would be some interested collectors, museums. But in any case, great to talk about this coin, and I'll be doing a few more of these hyper significant ones in US history. Maybe they're mysteries, maybe they're more well documented and verified compared to this one. In either case, it'll be really interesting. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Treasure Town, and get in touch with me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, check out my website, treasuretowncoins.com, for news and updates related to the channel and collectibles in general. Lastly, there's a link tree in the description with links to all of my other sites, as well as some affiliate links that can support the channel. But with that being said, have a great day, and I'll hope to see you on some of my videos in the future.